For my last week of reading Kosovo for Nomad Book Club, I read two books, an audiobook and an ebook. Both are non-fiction, both are set after the Kosovan conflict, however, they couldn't be more different. The first is The Bone Woman by Clea Koff. This is the memoir of a forensic anthropologist who works on mass grave sites in Rwanda, Bosnia, Croatia, and Kosovo. After reading The Day of the Pelican last week, which understandably as a young adult novel shied away from some of the darker aspects of the Kosovan conflict, I wanted to read something that really addressed those issues. What surprised me about this book is that even though it deals with some of the darkest genocides in modern history, and the work that Clea does is incredibly moving and meaningful, because of the way she has to do the work, she has to be somewhat detached, and the reader becomes somewhat detached because of that. We're looking more at the mass graves from a practical aspect of how she goes about doing her job to prove what happened, but in a way that has to be emotionally removed. There was as much about UN politics and infighting within the team of anthropologists working on the job, as much as there were moments where it really brought home what they were working on when family members were able to identify the bodies of their loved ones. The second book I read was Travels in Blood and Honey by Elizabeth Going, an expatriate who came to Kosovo around the time when Kosovo was gaining independence, along with her husband, who was an advisor to the Prime Minister. Without work and not that much to do, she starts to get more involved in learning Albanian, then Serbian, and also in beekeeping, which was really interesting in itself. As a fellow Brit, I also appreciated a lot of the humour that was in the book and a lot of the cultural references. This is one reason why I really like to read a mix of books about a place. Obviously, it's important to read from an authentically Kosovo author, for example, but also when you read something written from an outsider or visitor to the country, or even someone with mixed heritage or someone from that place but in the diaspora, it offers a different perspective, and sometimes it can help explain things that might need explaining to someone who is not part of that culture. Even though one was very dark and one was very light, I enjoyed both of these books in different ways, and I think they're some of my favorites that I've read so far this year.